that we are loved. Only love can create. Now, when my sis was a little bit nervous about saying it's Black History Month, I'm going to just put that on the floor because everybody gets it. Why? Why? I'm asking, why? Why did she feel a little nervous about saying it's Black History Month? Why? The social climate that we're in. Okay, very good. What else? Why was she nervous about saying that when we sing Lift Every Voice and Sing, that that's about Black History Month? Why? Afraid that she might offend somebody. Like, I've been working on this cotton plantation all day and my feet hurt. And I don't want to tell the master that you're beating me, you're breaking me down, and you're not paying me anything because I might offend you, right? Right? Yeah. Why else didn't she want to say that? Consequences. Yeah, consequences. If I say what's obvious, I'm Black, and I know what's happening in this climate, there might be consequences for me acting like I don't like the fact that there's consequences. There might be consequences for me acting like I want to be treated as a person. We got feelings about that, right? So we're talking about feelings. Um, After we get through this foundation. So we are made by love. We are physical, emotional, mental, social, and spiritual people, right? We have an understanding about things. And we also, when we look at care, like myself and Tammy, when we meet people, we have decided that we're going to use ourselves therapeutically, right? We know that we have issues because all of us have issues, but we're going to use ourselves therapeutically so that that person who is the patient becomes the center of care. We're going to use our intuition. We're going to use what we know about who we are to be a blessing to them at that time when they need. And sometimes we can be in relationships that can pull us one way or the other. Some are safe and some are not, right? If we if we're in a relationship, not like a therapeutic relationship, because like we clock in and we clock out, we have 1 hour. And if it goes any way past that, we call somebody and say, we got to go. If they're not letting us, we call somebody, they help us out. But I'm talking about your relationships at home, your relationships at church, your relationships at school, your relationship in the grocery store. That can be transient as well. Unless somebody steps on your foot and you think you have to get even with them about that. So, since God created us by love, then love takes care of us. So, we want to look at feelings. Tell me, what do you think about your feelings? Do they have anything to do with your health? Thoughts? Your feelings, do they have anything to do with your health? Hmm. Ooh, ooh, that's scientific. Interpersonal neurobiology says that in order to put yourself in a place of healing, you have to understand your feelings because feelings are also memories. Feelings we think are feelings. You may have witnessed a traumatic event when you were smelling Christian Dior perfume. And that Christian Dior perfume, when smelled again, can trigger that memory of that event without you even knowing what it was. Feelings can be memory. We call them implicit memories. Anybody know, Dr. Yvonne, what is an implicit memory? Yes. Yeah, we'll roll the mic.
Oh, it's embodied. It's an embodied.
Hmm.
Implicit is something that comes from your somatic
So,
being.
so you feel it in your body.
You feel it in your body.
So your nervous system, your neural system, remembers. So you can remember your mother cradling you without remembering the day, the time. Your body keeps the score. The body remembers. And those are implicit memories. But what the brain does is that it repackages implicit memories and it makes them explicit, recallable memories. Implicit memories can actually bring shame when you don't know where it's coming from. And it looks like a feeling. I feel happy. I feel sad. And sometimes those feelings can come at a certain time and we don't know what to do with them. And we think they're just feelings, but they're actually memories. In interpersonal neurobiology, Dr. Siegel says that we need to integrate in 9 domains. I'm not going to tell you all of them because I probably can't recall them all, but one of them is memory. When we're integrated, then we know how to relate to people well and relate to ourselves well. When we're disintegrated or not integrated, we might be walking around like a bag of feelings and not understanding how to deal with it. It's okay for a person to know that they were abused and that whenever they see a barking dog, it reminds them of the abuse. It's okay for them to know that. It's not okay that whenever they see a barking dog, they just have a meltdown and don't even know what's the matter. Making implicit memories explicit memories means to go to your past, understand your past, bring it into your future. And my dad didn't like me. He left my mom when I was a little girl. That's my thoughts. He left my mom was out when I was a little girl and he never came back. Man, was there something wrong with me? Is there something wrong with me? And I'm walking around, is there something wrong with me? And I'm bringing that into all my conversations. But if I could go back and say, well, my dad had issues because of X, Y, and Z, and he couldn't stay with mom, and that wasn't my fault. Now, when I have those feelings, I can understand what it is. Make sense? All right. So now we want to get into groups because we're going to do some activities. Feelings can be as elusive as the wind. We cannot see our emotions coming or know where they are going sometimes, but we feel them. Okay? We know they are real. A feeling can be so heavy it knocks us over, leaving us weeping uncontrollably and not knowing what we're crying about. Feelings may present like butterflies in our chest. They sweep us away like a first date or nurture us like the bosom of a loving parent. In our two sided brain, the feeling brain is the sensing brain, the artistic brain, the brain that sees pictures. Feelings or emotions also express implicit pre verbal knowledge. That's why babies feel things more deeply than adults, because adults can say what it is. So when some adults say that my family was in trauma, but this infant here, they were just a baby, so they don't know what happened, so they were not traumatized as much. That's not true. It's absolutely the opposite. The baby was taking everything in, but they didn't know what it was. So they have to go through counseling to understand what those feelings were about. All right. Feelings inform um, our right brain. I'm sorry, let me step back. Feelings inform how the right brain tells stories. The right brain. Feelings inform how the right brain tells stories. These expressions, be they pleasant or unpleasant, or however they may feel, are pieces of data that connect us to our past. In this sense, touching our emotions aids in the process of connecting to our past and creating a future of desired outcomes. Who's ever said, I'm just going to forget what happened to me and I'm just going to move on? Very tempting, is it? If you can't leave you back there, you can't leave your knowledge back there. And you can't leave your feelings back there. You have to reconcile it. So that's what this activity is about. So I've got paper on each table, and I've got pencils. And if you don't have pencils on your table, I have coloring crayons. You can draw about it, you can write about it, and we're going to talk about it. This activity is going to help us to know what our feelings are. But the flip side of that is that when we have feelings, we need to relate to other people. Have you ever said in your mind, hey, peoples, those are my people. Happy Sabbath. Hi, Messiah. So, have you ever said in your mind, somebody just told you something about themselves, and you said, "Nah, they're lying. They don't believe that. They don't feel like that." You ever said that before? I know in the healthcare system, we judge people all the time. We have our conversations. We do have to debrief how we feel in church. But how does that work? Now, I heard a preacher say that Jesus, whatever he thought in his mind, was so present that it would happen because he's God. So, like, if he's thinking you should die, a person would die. If Jesus, if Jesus, if his mind, he had to really keep his mind in check. I said, God, I'm so glad that what I think does not happen. But we still have this mind to deal with and how it goes. So, anyway, guys, what this is about empathy, and not just empathy, it's about how you feel and accepting that what a person says about how they feel is real. I mean, you don't feel what they feel. You don't know how they feel. But if they tell you this is how they feel, believe them. Okay? So, number 1, you need partners. I want you to take your paper, and I want to do some word association. And the word is joy. When I say joy, write 3 words that are associated with joy. When I say joy, you write 3 words that you associate with joy. Like when I say joy, I think of excitement, dancing, laughing, hallelujah. When I say joy, what do you think? Write associations with that. Peace. When I say peace, what do you think? Write it down. I say peace, what do you think? Write it down. And it doesn't have to sound like it goes, it could be anything. It could be sweet potato pie. And I say peace, sweet potato pie. All right. Doesn't have to make sense to anybody else. When I say anger, what do you say? Just write it down. You, you're not playing, huh? And why? How come you're not playing? Don't even have a reason. There's paper right there. Just go on and play. All right. When I say worry, what do you say? Hmm. And you can always change your mind. When I say worry, what do you say? When I say fear, what do you say? When I say fear, what do you say? It's 3, 4 words. When I say hope, what do you say? When I say hope, what do you say? And when I say love, what do you say? This part is about your emotions, understanding your emotions. So it's not a sharing part. I just want you to get in touch with your emotions. When I say disgust, that word, if anybody says that's disgusting, I don't like that word, but I get it. Because gusto means joy, right? Happiness. Disgust, away from joy. When I say disgust, what do you say? Of course, gust is palatable, right? I'm practicing Spanish here. Gustatory, that means taste in Latin. So it means it's palatable. Gust. Shame. When I say shame, what do you say? When I say shame, what do you say? When I say surprise, what do you say? Surprise. When I say pride, what do you say? First thing that popped in my mind was Lion King pride. When I say trust, what do you say? Trust. When I say confusion, what do you say? 3 or 4 words, just right off the top of your head. And the last word is sadness. When I say sadness, what do you say? When I say sadness, what do you say? So, one attribute of emotional health is the ability to identify with someone else and accept that person's feelings as authentic. That's what we said, despite how we feel ourselves. So, before you can empathize with somebody, and brother, I'm sorry if I put you on the spot. See, I have to empathize in real time. Before you can empathize with somebody, you have to know how you feel. Sometimes people say, well, you're just being that, and they don't understand how you feel. They want you to empathize with somebody, but they don't know how you feel. But it doesn't matter. Do you know how you feel? So before we can empathize with others, we need to know ourselves. We know how we feel by being honest about those feelings. Now, are we honest about our feelings? We're not always honest about how we're feeling, right? Hmm? You don't know how they feel. Like yesterday, I was feeling overwhelmed. I know I had to speak 3 times a day. And then I start feeling, well, I'm overloading myself. Like, what kind of person I am? Now I start feeling like an imposter. Just being transparent here. And so God worked that out. We need to check it out. God, like, this is what I'm feeling. I don't know if it's real. Can you tell me? Is this what I'm doing to show a good face to everybody? Because this is what's expected of me, or is this what I'm really feeling? Okay. So we want to. Do you guys think you were being honest when I asked you those words and you wrote your feelings down? Who thinks you're being honest about your feelings? I only saw 3 hands. So first, I got to ask, who did this activity?
We did.
Okay. So now I'm gonna ask the question again. When you did this activity, do you think you were being honest?
Yes.
Okay. Does anybody think you were being dishonest? And it's okay if you thought you were just saying something that you're supposed to say.
We need to have that on record.
I mean, yeah, you're not a paid a hireling, right?
What? I don't care what others think. If I did, I wouldn't be here.
Right, exactly. She's not a hireling. She's a
She's
real
not.
preacher. Okay, so we often judge that a person is not being honest about what they express as their feelings. Why would you judge that a person's not being honest? You're projecting. Tell me more about that projection. There's the mic.
You're feeling that inside, and you are transferring that onto somebody else.
Yeah. That's right. You're not being honest about your feelings, so they must not be honest about their feelings. So can you really empathize with somebody if you're not honest about your feelings? No, you really can't.
I ask, so
Mhm.
you are talking about feelings.
Yes.
For a long time, I have been troubled by the fact that feelings, there are several layers, okay, emotions. And people judge and put down feelings because it's moody and it's something you can manage. I have even heard sermons, don't make decisions based on your feelings. But increasingly, I'm realizing we are mixing several things together because there is this deeper layer. You called it implicit knowledge, which comes from the past, from the childhood, before we were born, before we were even talking. Things were already uh, stored in our memories. So there is this deep emotion. Are you talking about that, or are you talking about the feelings that we are surrounded every day and we can pretty much manage?
I love that. Thank you for talking about that. Some people have what you might call feelings that we have every day, and Tammy knows that they cannot manage. They're deep for them. And then there are some people who say, don't make a decision based upon your feelings, right? Because they're not realizing that those are not just feelings, they're implicit knowledge. Until we're integrated, we don't know whether those are just feelings or they're unresolved issues. And if we're trying to make a decision based upon unresolved issues, we're going to get the same unresolved stuff that we had before. So we're going to find ourselves running in cycles, addictive cycles, doing the same thing because we have not touched our emotions. We have not understood where they come from. You can't do anything in the past or in the future. You're carrying your present everywhere you go. You will have to reconcile the past, though, to go into the future.
So I know sometimes I think we tend to intellectualize the difference between feelings and emotions.
Mm,
And what I say to people is that feelings are messengers.
mm,
They show up to give you a message
mm,
about your past, your present, and your future.
mm,
Emotions are indicators, not disorders.
mhm.
And I think another thing I say is that behind every behavior is a belief.
Yeah.
And so those things are, whether you use the word emotions or feelings,
Mhm.
they're all being fueled
Mhm.
by your thoughts and your mindsets and your experiences, whether those are experiences in the past, in the present, or in the future. And so I wouldn't get too caught up with trying to explain the difference between feelings and emotions because they show up in a way to give you a message. Both of them show up to give you a message.
Very, very
And
good.
the question that we need to ask when we have emotions or feelings is what are they here to what's the message they're here to give us?
Mhm. That's very good. And I see your hand. I'm going to come to you. That's very good. If you find yourself in a state of mind where you think you have to ignore your feelings or your emotions, that means you got some unresolved trauma. If you need to ignore how you're feeling right now and you got to put that away, that takes a lot of energy, guys. And you're bringing that energy into your everyday. If you were not supposed to feel, you would not feel. And ask people who are on medications and they don't feel how they feel. I used to feel this way. My brother, go ahead.
So I'm glad this was brought up that we tend to intellectualize and try to just play with the words, and that was not my point. I wanted to say that
Right.
the more I'm exploring this issue, the more I'm convinced we are run by emotions. Every our decision, we read Bible, we teach, whatever we do, and we call it intellectual. It's driven by emotions which are lay beneath. And so back to you, what you are saying is how do we recognize this implicit feelings
Mhm.
and and my issue, my dealing with it is we are wounded, and it took me years to even realize that. And I knew all the theories. I studied psychology and all that, and still it didn't dawn up on me that I'm wounded, and it drives my relationships, and it just hurts people around me.
Mhm.
And how do you identify that? How do you deal with that?
My brother, he said something that's very important. He studied intellectually, he has studied and he has seen, but he said that I am wounded. There's no study in the world that can erase your wounds or heal your wounds. You have to experience healing. So, in order to experience healing, the wound has to be exposed, which means you will have to feel it. So, now at the back of your brain is the amygdala, and that is your fight or flight area. That's where you have the sensing. And then you have your prefrontal cortex here. Research has shown that if you write or you journal, you heal your brain by connecting your executive function or your plans with your emotions. So they work together. To take your feelings and say, you're a stepchild and I don't want you and you make me feel bad and you got to go in the closet somewhere. Self-abuse. I know we don't look at it that way. And you're not trying to do that. You're just trying to be happy. A little plug for this movie is called, what's that movie called about the emotions? Who knows about that movie? Inside Out. Go watch that movie, Inside Out. That really is a very good way of looking at our emotions. All right.
So I one of the things about community connections, and I want us to get this, is, and I'm saying it loud, healing does not happen in isolation. It happens in community because we all dealing with dealing with us, with the mess we've got. So I'm going to ask a question here. You don't have to answer. But what do you do when you feel like a dry drunk? Because the reality is that so many of us are walking around, we may not drink, and it may not necessarily be alcohol, or it may not be drugs or whatever, but we're living a lie because we don't want to face the wound, name the wound, face the pain. And we think that by praying enough, that it's going to go away. And I'm going to pass over to she who must be heard.
No, I just wanted to piggyback on what what you're bringing to us, what the gentleman's bringing to us, what the fine woman there, and what you're bringing to us. I think at the core of it, we're talking about the deception of the enemy. He wants us to believe, and for so long we've believed the religional trauma of your feelings are bad. Listen, we were created in the image of God, and that is partly intellectual, partly physical, and partly emotional. And when we start to recognize, man, me recognizing that my emotion is like the little yellow dot that comes on my car
Yes.
saying, pay attention, your gas tank is almost empty.
Yes.
Then I start to realize I'm this holistic, incorporated person. I don't stop every mile and shine a flashlight down in my gas tank to find out if there's enough gas in the car. And my emotions are doing the same thing for me. When it comes up, it's saying, hey, pay attention.
Yes.
You got to dig. You got to find out why it's there, how long it's been there, where did it come from, and what will I do with it now? But we are created in the image of God, emotional. So I love you. Give me something to think about, brother. Do we run on emotion all the time? And maybe it was meant to be that way from the beginning. And the distortion, the deceit that the enemy thrives under has really done a number on us.
That's right. That's right. Hey, this is rich. So the reality is that we need to stay in community. God knew what he was doing. And I hear you, brother. God knew what he was doing when he said that he needed a sanctuary to dwell among his people. God knew what he was doing when he set up a church, when he told those 120 people to stay in the upper room until the Holy Spirit came so that we can spread this gospel across the world, so that we would know who we are, and so that we would be this, and that we would be healed, and we would always have this conduit for self-healing, community. Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, just what you were saying, and well, actually, kind of all the things that are flying around here. One of the things that I bring up a lot to people that I'm visiting, especially a hospice chaplain, but when they're dealing with death and everything, it's just those emotions that they're feeling. They allow us to heal, and so many times, society like, oh, you don't need to cry or anything like that. No, absolutely. You do need to be in that emotion that you're in. You need to feel that. You need to just be.
I'm feeling that. Are you guys are you feeling something now? How does it feel? How do you feel? How does this conversation feel to you?
Truly uncomfortable. And the reason I'm saying it feels uncomfortable is because I've been touching this for a long time. And, I'll say this again. It is always appropriate to pray, but prayer is not always the answer. And I'm glad we're talking about this, about feelings and all of the other things, because the reality is and let me just talk to the men. I can't talk to the women. We got things we ain't even talking about to anybody, let alone ourselves. And it is very difficult for men to heal in community because we really don't have community. And we don't really want to deal with emotions because we've been socialized to not manage or deal with our emotions because that's not what it means to be a man. Or if you do, you're in isolation because other men know, I don't want to deal with it. So what you're saying is very, very, very real for me. And I just want to say this. It takes more than courage. It takes intentionality to touch your own emotions. Because the reality is what we don't want to touch. No, I heard someone say it like this. What you run from will chase you. What you confront will transform you. So that is what being part of this process, part of the family that we are creating here at the Grace Place with community connections. And it isn't just for this space. It is for everyone who walks through this door. or everyone who comes online. And the reason I'm bringing it back, because I've known you for donkey years and I didn't expect you're going to do what you do today. So thank you.
Praise the Lord. So Pastor.
I think one of the things that we have to deal with, and I'm glad we're dealing with it here, is that church has become a place where you hide your emotions and your feelings. And we compensate for the hiding of it with activities like, you know, singing, clapping, and all that kind of thing. People are clapping when they're crying. Yeah. And I think it's really important for us to just talk plainly as you are leading us to to ourselves, if not to each other. Because if we start with ourselves, we can find a day when we can say to the person next to us, you know, this is how I'm feeling. Um, it's if we dislike something, there's always somebody next to us in the church to tell us not to dislike that. But that's how I feel. So I really appreciate your plunging, you're going deep with it because we need the healing to begin. And and those, you know, I've been through therapy so much. I feel like I could teach therapy. but but church is this is what Jesus set up the upper room to be church where you could come and the Holy Spirit will touch and you will feel, and it's not always going to be a good feeling, but it will be a right feeling. Yeah. So let's dig deep. Yeah.
Thank you, Pastor. So now this is going to be our last activity. Now this is an activity where you need to partner, and I got you, Thomas. This is an activity where you need to partner. This is going to be your time to listen to somebody's feelings and see if you can hear them and you can see where they are. Okay, Thomas.
Um, I was gonna say the first one, the first word was joy. And feelings and emotions can be intertwined, intermingled. They can be confused because the enemy is ancient and wise, and the war is over your soul. So I put down God, gift, and love, but love is Jesus. And joy is always a gift from God. You can be in the most down, or you can be in the most suppressed or depressed moment in your time, but you can still have joy. You can still have love. You can still find Jesus. You can still, even in the moment where you were 6 feet under and been raised anew, still find love in that. And that's what the part about emotions and feelings can be confusing because Jesus said, forgive us, we are lost. And so lost is a feeling. So a feeling can be hard to describe. When that feeling is no feeling, it's lost. So you can find joy in those moments in time because if you really do have Jesus and you see love everywhere, you can make it through that moment. That's why you're supposed to bear the cross. You're supposed to, bring no lie to the dinner table, face all facts. Even if you have to run from that fear, know that that stride is going to make you stronger. So when you do turn around, you have the might to fight back. It builds spiritual muscle. It's all joy.
That's powerful what he said. I mean, what I got from what Thomas said is that even though we have feelings that may be hurting us or seem like they're destroying us, God is in the midst of that, redeeming us, no matter what it is. Even if I have imposter syndrome, he's saying, no, you're going to go there. You must be there. So that means walking past those feelings, not ignoring them, being very honest about what it is, but still showing up anyway. All right. Very good. So we're going to get your partner. Everybody needs a partner for this activity. And you need paper. You can, if you need to turn over your paper or get another paper, I want you to remember your feelings because you need to be in touch with your feelings to do this activity. And now you're going to listen. So you're going to ask the question, how your partner is feeling. We're not doing word association this time. This time you're asking your partner. If you got two, if there's leftover, you can do three. Yeah. You're going to ask your partner how they're feeling. And now that we've really talked about feelings, we're not going to be necessarily on the surface, right? You don't have to divulge any deep closet things, but be real, okay? Let's say, tell your partner how you're feeling and ask your partner. And this is an activity. So the person that's asking, ask them the question. Don't let me be the asker. Don't just sit there and say, do it. Ask your partner the question, how are you feeling? Do it like you would do it. And guys, could you pause for just a minute? I'm sorry, I forgot to give you some instruction. Could you pause for just a second? Every time I come here, you're the one. You know how to keep. Okay, listen, guys. I want you to listen to your partner and let your partner know that you acknowledged his or her feelings, and then write what they said. Okay. You have to be able to tell us what your partner said. Okay. All right. There you go. I'm really glad to see everybody's engaged. And we're going to start wrapping up, but I want to ask you a couple of questions to put a pin in this activity. So I want you to discuss the similarities or differences in your feelings and your partner's feelings with your partner. Discuss the similarities or dissimilarities, how it's alike, how it's not alike with your partner. Do you feel like your partner or don't you feel like your partner? I want you to discuss that. You got 2 minutes to do that. Are your feelings similar to your partner? I mean, and that's your feeling now. Of course, your feelings change. I'm talking about right now. How you feel, is it similar to your partner's? I want to know if with your partner, are your feelings similar to their feelings or dissimilar? Are they the same or different? There are some similarities, there are some dissimilarities. Okay. Now I want to ask you to answer this question. And this is to the group. Do you believe your partner's feelings? No, I'm sorry. Do you believe that your feelings are valid? Yes or no? If you believe it's valid, raise your hand. Your feelings are valid. All right. Look, taking the temperature of the room, that's different than when I asked the question the first time, right? Now, the next question, do you believe your partner's feelings are valid? All right. Okay, very good. I feel the energy flowing here, right? Is it okay? Is it okay for you to feel the same way? Yes or no? Is it okay for you to feel the same as your partner? It is? It is not okay for you to feel the same as your partner. Okay, for those who said it's not okay to feel the same way as your partner, take him to Mike, Pastor Larry, take him to Mike, the brother in the Argyle sweater back here. He said, it's not okay for us to feel the same way. Right here, the blue and to the right there. Yes. He said it's not okay to feel like his partner. I want to know why.
Because we have different feelings. We different from each other.
Mm-hmm. So we're different. We are different. But are we the same as well? Can we be different and the same? We have one purpose here, right? So is everybody here walking on 2 feet? But everybody in the world doesn't walk on 2 feet, right? So sometimes we're going to be different, but sometimes we're going to be the same, right? Is everybody in this room speak English?
Mostly.
I mean, I'm not saying are there people who don't speak more than one language. My husband speaks 3 languages. But I want to ask the question, does everybody in here speak English? So does that mean we're similar here? All right. So my brother, what do you get it now? So but the question is, did you think that do we always have to be the same? But can we be the same sometimes?
Zoomers, do you have any questions? Anything to say?
So yeah, I want to. He says, I'm still trying to get. You said it's not okay to be the same. I want to know why. He needs Mike because I need to know why, and then people want to really weigh in on this because this is. Wait. Let's ask him first why he says it's not okay to be the same.
Because we are different.
So you're saying that we have to be different.
No, because we are different.
But is it okay if we're when I say I'm not saying in all aspects we're the same, like the same DNA, the same taste, the same. I'm saying our feelings. Is it okay for us to feel the same way? That's the question. Is it okay for us to feel the same way?
Okay. That's my partner right there.
Okay.
No,
I get a
we
sense.
are different.
Do you
Totally.
feel? Do you feel the same way sometimes?
No.
Well, then why are you partners? How did you guys work that out? How are you in the same building? How do you live in the same house?
Well, the Bible say we are one. Me and her, we are one. I'm gonna leave it like that.
I guess we can leave it like that.
We are one.
We'll leave it there. Okay, let's thank you, my brother. So your turn.
No, actually, I wanted to come to Wallace's aid here. Because I think sometimes and maybe this is where you were coming from. I hope it is because I kind of feel that same way.
Mm.
Like I don't know what your experience is because I'm not you. So even though they're similar, the feelings are similar, they're not necessarily the same. And I think, like, for instance, like if I told somebody that just lost their father that I understand your pain, I I don't completely understand it, even though I lost my father.
Right.
But I don't completely understand it because I'm not them. But I can appreciate what they're going through. And I think sometimes when you use that language, it can throw people off. And and I'm hoping that's what it is. Like our feelings can be similar, but they're not the same.
Very good. Now this is interesting. You taught me a lot because so you taught me a lot, both of you, because I did not say the same. I said similar. Similarities and dissimilarities. But also you know what you know what you brought out to me? That a lot of fights that we have in our community are about how people feel and how they say they feel and how they think you should feel. And 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 if somebody says that I feel like you, you're gonna say, "Well, you don't feel like me." Well, it's my feelings. I can feel like you. If I say I feel like you, I think I feel like you. It doesn't mean that you have to say you feel like me, but these are still my feelings. I think I feel. Look, when I was a kid, I went to school and I did my hair in a certain way. And this other girl, she had her hair a certain way. Now, in my mind, my hair looked like her. I said, "Wow, we got the same hairstyle." She looked at my hair. She said, "My hair don't look like that." And so my feelings were not what her feelings were. But what would keep us from fighting is that my feelings are valid and her feelings are valid. Okay. So let me ask another question. Do you believe your partner's feelings about? Oh, we did that one. Okay, and the question was, is it okay for you to feel the same way? I guess I didn't say similar. Is it okay? Is it okay? Is it okay to feel the same way somebody else? And the answer was no. And then some people said yes, it's okay to feel that same way. All right. Like if my husband is happy, is it okay for me to feel happy when he's happy? Yeah. If I decide to feel mad when he's happy, is that okay? It's okay. It might be a fight, but it's okay. We need a mic here. All right.
I don't think anyone can feel the same way as someone else, and I agree with that. But the reason why I'm saying that is because you told us in the beginning that we are different,
Mhm.
and it's it's hard to we're different in that or early childhood
Yeah.
information that we bring with us may cause us to feel something that's similar, like you said, but it cannot be the same
Very good.
because each one of us is affected by the journey
Yeah.
to where we are.
That's true. However, the civil rights movement is an example of people who had the same types of feelings. It might not have been
Same-
exactly
Same
like
types, but not the same feelings.
true, but the fact that they felt the same way galvanized them into the same movement. And so when we looking similar, they felt similar. Okay, they did feel similar. But the question, okay, let me say similar. We won't say same. I'm not gonna say the same. You don't have the same fingerprints. You weren't in the same womb at the same time. And even if you're twins, you have differences. But that's not what I'm trying to get at. What I'm trying to get at is it okay? And I'm gonna give you an example. My friend, one of my friends when we were in school, she never wanted me to want the same thing she wanted. So if we go into a store, we saw this mirror, it says, "Hi, gorgeous." I like the mirror. She said, "Well, you can't buy it because I bought that. You gotta buy another one." Okay. So I liked it, she liked it. In her mind, it wasn't okay for us to like the same thing because she had to be different. So my question is it okay for us to feel the way somebody else feels? I mean, you can't feel exactly what they feel because that's impossible, but is it okay for you to be in the same space?
So I would say the most important feeling should be the feeling of him, and we should all feel the same.
Oh,
So power will come from a need, not a desire.
mhm.
And it's in our nature, our sin nature, to bite from our needs and put our desires first. So I would like to get down to the root of the form.
Okay.
You might not like water.
Mm.
You and some people have a higher frequency over this subject with God over water, but you need that water. And you're going to drink from that spiritual drink. You're going to, and everyone should like water right now, you know, how, because you know you need
Yeah.
it. So it depends on how you resonate in frequency with the person. You have to sync. And in those times, yes, you're going to disagree because I might have a higher or a lower frequency, but you need that water, that frequency will match for him.
That was really deep. I think that went to a space where we are one, and we are all in the same spirit. And so, yeah, that is very, very much the spiritual crux of the matter. What you just said, Thomas. Okay, and so now okay, go ahead.
So I wanted to say, my understanding is we have different experiences, and but feelings again are messengers, and they show up to give us a message about our experience.
Yeah, yeah.
So when I feel joy for being in church, Marlene can feel joy for being with her husband. The feeling, right? The
Oh, you
feeling,
Marlene, son?
yes.
Hallelujah. How you doing, Mr.
Right.
No.
Mr. Marlene. Yeah, so the experiences are different. The feeling is joy.
Yes. Yes.
So I don't know if we're getting confused about experience and the feeling.
Yeah. I get it. It's like if you're in a concert and everybody's jumping up and down, everybody's doing the same thing through the same rhythm, and they all know the same dance. I mean, they might experience it a different way, but if anybody came from a different planet, they would think that they were all feeling the same way. So yeah, that's what I was saying. And so now, we go to the second question, which is the opposite, but I think we know the answer. Is it okay to feel different than someone else? So now we ask these questions because in a space of polarization, when I feel this way and you feel that way, I feel it's okay to feel this way. As a matter of fact, this is the best way to feel, and you're right if you feel this way. And if you feel that way, you're wrong. And you have this energy of a fight. But if we acknowledge in our hearts, it's okay to feel different, and it's okay to feel the same. It's okay to commiserate, to have a civil rights movement or the Underground Railroad movement so that you can get your needs met, and that is to get paid for a day's labor and to take care of your family. I might not like it because I'm a slave master, but you are entitled to your feelings. Or if you guys both decide to stay on the same separate or equal, or no, I'm getting confused here. Like if you decide to commiserate in the same feeling, or if you decide to stay where you are, the question is are you okay and I'm okay? Or is it okay to be different? Is it okay to be the same? All right. All right, guys. That was it. This was fun. Thank you so much. This is the book that I was coming from, and it's called Nature's Eight Whole Person Modeling. It's a workbook. We did one activity. There are 50 activities in here. These activities help you to integrate yourself. It comes from physical, emotional, mental, social, and spiritual health. Okay. If you need it, if you want it, let me know. Oh, one more thing. Every morning on WUBS 89.7 FM, I do have a radio station, 7:30 a.m. 5 minutes. Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let's give her a round of applause. Thank you for choosing to engage with us, to lead us in such and not just informative. We didn't just get information, we engaged in an experience that we pray and hope through the Spirit of God will become a part of a transformative journey. So at this point, we will have our family chat. So Ms. Akila, would you have a seat here to my right and Dr. Yvonne on the left? And
Someone on Zoom.
we have someone on Zoom. Yes. Who's on Zoom?
Hi, good morning.
Hi, good morning,
Sabbath.
Sabbath.
This was a
This was a
very
very
intriguing
intriguing
and
and
needed time
time
together. So
together.
I want to
So I
thank
want
the
to thank the
presenter for
presenter
your
for your
time.
time.
And
And
even though we
even
were on
though we
Zoom,
were
I
on
don't know
Zoom, I
how
don't
the
know
other
how the
Zoomers
other
felt.
Zoomers felt.
It was still
It was still
a little
a
different
little
but a
different
journey.
but a journey.
As you were
As you were
sharing about
sharing
the second
about the second
question,
question,
is it okay to feel different? What came to mind for me was working in the clinical setting, especially during grief, during loss in the hospital, when someone dies and you have multiple family members, even the staff, the doctors and the staff, everybody has, um, they're not robots. We're not robots, including us chaplains. It's the same event, but everybody in the room experiences it different and feels different. And the awareness is that our story, our life story, our cultural background, all informs how we're receiving the same event and how we're processing it. So one person may see it through a place of great loss. Another person may experience it or feel relief from it. So it's been quite an intentional place, even for me, to be aware of emotions and feelings when it comes to experiencing just environments. And one of the things that I love to share with families, especially in the midst of impending grief and loss, is to kind of, do like a coming to Jesus moment with them and really bring to the forefront the reckoning that everybody's entitled to feel and experience this in their way. And the grace that is needed from each family member is to allow the person the space to grieve and experience their emotions, and also to just make it plain, because Sometimes we think it's just, everybody knows, but it's very helpful, like you did today, to name the things. So, for example, I share with them, hey, if one person feels one day that they're watching a comedy show and they're laughing, the next person who's crying doesn't get to tell that person who's laughing, how dare you laugh? Our mom died, we all need breaks from even our emotions to process it. And so naming that and also giving permission for each person to give space for the other person to experience how they're experiencing. I think it's a healing space. And having the tables with partners and so forth, I'm hoping that was experienced also by slowing down and knowing that we're all experiencing the same thing in different ways, but in community, we're able to move through it together. So that's what I wanted to share based on the two questions you had before. What are your thoughts about that?
What we learned today. So we're gonna. You got